I can't stop smiling. I am obsessed with the energy of this person that I just channeled through mediumship for my client. It's like, it's just making my cheeks hurt. Like, it's just the sweetest energy. And like, I'm doing this because it's such a notebook style reference to Allie from the Notebook with these fancy hats from like the 1950s and these white gloves and this very like demure ladylike style is coming through with it, and I love it. It's like the sweetest thing. Okay. So, and this is connected to the theme of the week. It's been like just a couple days of work for me, and I've already had multiple sessions coming through with these strong themes around the topic for the day, which is connected to capacity for experiencing high highs and low lows, and how complex trauma history impacts that. And so I've had a variety of different presentations connected to this, and I'll share some elements from each to paint a nice full picture of this. One of them is connected to getting some very sad news from in this like family situation, and this noticing of other people in the room are in tears and clearly visibly affected and highly emotional, and I feel a blankness and I'm just not feeling anything, and I'm noticing the discrepancy, the differences between my reaction and emotional state versus that of all these people around me whom I love greatly. And then I am thinking, what's wrong with me? And feeling some shame. And this was the triggering situation that was the most recent. But as I explored more and intuitively sensed, ooh, I think I know what this is about, I said, are there moments in your lifetime where you have experienced a similar phenomena of that blankness, that sense of emotional numbness or disconnect around high highs, such as joy? Have you had moments like that where you felt a similar energy, not just around sorrow, grief, death, and dying, but around moments of great joy? And this person said, yes, I have. You know, in these big moments where my partner has been in a state of celebration and joy and like amazing for this shared accomplishment or this big life event, I have noticed the same thing, that I have that blank type of feeling when that happens, and that feels very disconnecting. um, and again, when we don't know where that is coming from and we sense it, we see the discrepancy, and then we personalize it, that's where it doubles down into some embarrassment and some shame. And the worst part is, I am fearful of how my emotional numbness in moments of highs and lows in life may be impacting the people I love the most. And I've shared with these several people who I've seen this week who all have had these conversations with me in session, that I'm familiar with what it looks like for somebody to truly not experience empathy and to be disconnected. I'm familiar with what the profile of, see, I'm hesitant to use the word because okay, let me think of where I want to say that. I'm familiar with narcissism. I know the diagnostics. I have worked with people. I've seen people who genuinely struggle with experiencing empathy. And I have admitted that to me, have come in seeking therapy around that. Hey, I think this is what's going on. I'm concerned. And that's a very, very different profile. That's something completely different from what these clients are talking about. And so I'm explaining that because they go to this place of something's wrong with me. You know, I'm in this funeral, um, and everybody else around me is crying, and I haven't cried in like 10 years. Like something's wrong with me. That is such a different thing from a lack of empathy. This is the body's way, from body memory, from subconscious cellular protective mechanisms out of this incredibly tumultuous highs and lows where we're just rocketing down and feeling like if we experience joy in childhood and we get this beautiful gift for our birthday, and then that night something in our family happens that is highly unsafe and triggering, this feels like that bubble being burst is smashing us onto the ground. And now intense emotions are in their own essence associated with danger. And those emotional states are trauma triggers for us. When we think of trauma triggers, we often think of something really tangible, physical, but the emotional state itself can be paired. And this keeps us in that middle range of this is where I'm explaining to this person, this is from your trauma history. This is from your trauma history. If you had a sense of safety, a bedrock of stability, and then you experienced something that was difficult, that had a high and a low to it, that was startling, because those moments sometimes are unavoidable. But when your overall patterns, when there's some level of an underlying safety net of stability and safety that is anchoring your life, you can experience a high and a low here and there without your body recognizing a need for a dissociation, that when we hit this certain level of intensity, we are capped at experiencing joy because it now becomes a dangerous thing. If you let yourself get to that height of joy and you lean into that, you are going to be dropped. And so when joy hits, our body is leaning away from it. And this is a very unconscious thing. People are not noticing that they're doing that. It is happening on, like I said, such a cellular level of subconscious memory that they're not dress rehearsing tragedy when the joy hits. It's just a flip of a switch type of situation that they're in that place of numbness. Okay, what else is important to say about this for people? Help me out here. I think the important thing about this that I've seen as we've created some language and conceptualizing framework around this for the people that I've worked with so that they can understand and source and place what is happening when they're experiencing that numbness and noticing something different is happening for me than the people around me during these moments of intense emotion, whether on the side of joy or on the side of sorrow, despair, right? Is that we can depersonalize it. We can take away some of the shame, and being able to put your finger on it in that way is itself relieving, is healing. And I've seen this reaction as people tear up and just say, I'm relieved. I'm relieved. I thought something was wrong with me. And I say, no, 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 not at all. Like, you are, this is what I was saying earlier. You are such a beautiful person. You are so loving. You are so family oriented. You have a big heart. I know you. I feel you. I feel your energy. I am highly attuned to you on this spiritual level as a psychic medium, intuitive healer, and with a clinical background and, specialty in trauma work. You're good. You are good. You are made of good. And your sense of numbness and disconnect in those pockets, when you cap out on the intensity of emotion that feels tolerable without triggering survival skills based on that trauma history, right? That is completely a trauma based experience, and it has nothing to do with your personality and the quality of your soul's essence and the loving nature that is your divine truth. And mm, to be seen in that way for these people who have just carried that as this additional layer of shame on top of the wounds from their childhood, to see that melt away is everything. That's everything. And you deserve to experience joy. You deserve to have every fiber in your being, every dancing filament of light that makes up your energy body and your cellular physical body feel joy and go, oof, and lean into it. That's for me. That's for me. That's got my name on it, without having that sensation of joy means danger is looming. Yes. Because now that doesn't need to be true. It feels wired into your subconscious brain, where that primal development happened during the time where we were growing inside of repeated traumatic environments. Yes. And now we want better for you. You deserve to experience that joy and to lean in. And so I think the first step, or one of the main things, is, like I said, to be able to, when you feel that numbness happening, to source it, to say, this is what Miranda and I talked about. Breathe, right? And we don't need to layer on shame anymore. Once we know what it is we're experiencing, we have the language and the framework around it. All right, this is not who I am. I'm a beautiful person. I have a big heart. I don't need to shame myself or judge myself for the symptom of trauma that I am experiencing right now. And the ongoing healing work, which typically for people who have this type of experience includes EMDR, is where we are able to create some healing that trickles all the way down to the root system here and integrates things so that everything in us can start moving toward a reality that is going to embrace and foster the lean in energy to those pockets of joy in our life.